Hello, I'm Teacher Robin. Welcome to another live streaming class. If this is your first time to join us, let me explain how the classes work. Today our topic is possessives in English. If you have a question during the class, write your question in the comments and I'll answer it at the end of the class. I also have a few questions for you at the end of my lesson to practice what you've learned, and you can write your answers in the comment section as well. So before we get started with today's topic, let's review what we learned in last class in case you missed it. We did a complete review of English tenses. So the present, the past, the future, we went through all of the tenses and gave you some examples. So if you missed the class and you want to watch it, go to the video section of our Facebook page, and there you can find all of our previous classes. So you can watch them again, you can share them on your own Facebook page, you can tag someone you think might want to watch it, or you can participate in the comments, as you can always continue writing in the comments. So now let's move on to our topic for today, which is possessives. Okay, first let's define what the possessive actually is. When do we use the possessive form? We use it to show ownership, okay, which is also called possession. We also call this tense the Saxon genitive, okay? So if I say possessive, Saxon genitive, it's the same thing. Okay, so let's start with singular nouns. How do we make singular noun possessive? By adding an apostrophe S to the end of the word. For example, Robin's car is green. John's jacket is brown. Emily's dog is black and white. So here, the noun is actually a proper noun because it's a person's name, but it's singular, so we just add the apostrophe S, so Robin becomes Robin's, etc. Okay, so now let's talk about singular compound nouns, okay? So compound nouns are nouns that are made up of more than one word. Okay, so for example, we celebrate Christmas at my mother-in-law's house. Here, the word mother-in-law is a compound noun because it's made up of 3 words, so we add the apostrophe S here at the end of the last word, law, so mother-in-laws. I see that Francisco and Anna are joining us. Thanks for watching, okay? Feel free to write in the comments if you have anything you'd like to share with us. Okay, let's make one distinction here as we go along, one difference between British and American English. In British English, the names of places, locations are possessive. So they say the hairdressers, the butchers, etc. In American English, it is not. It's simply the hairdresser and the butcher. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind. All right, now let's talk about plural nouns. To form a plural noun, we add an apostrophe after the S, as the word ends in S because it is plural, so we simply add an apostrophe. For example, the kids' toys are on the floor. Okay, so kids ends in S, we just add this apostrophe here. One more example, I know all my friends' birthdays. Okay, friends is plural, so we add an apostrophe. Okay, separate possession. This is when we have multiple nouns in one sentence and the possession is separate. Okay, so we're talking about separate possessions. So we add an apostrophe S after each of the nouns. Okay, for example, Bob's and Lisa's cars are very expensive. In this example, Bob has a car that belongs to him and Lisa has a car that belongs to her. So we're talking about 2 different cars, so we need the apostrophe S after both of their names, okay? Because we could actually separate this into 2 sentences. Bob's cars are very expensive, Lisa's cars are very expensive. Okay, I see Elaine, Paul, and Rodrigo are joining us. Okay, great, thanks for watching. Now let's talk about multiple nouns. With multiple nouns, we add an apostrophe S after the last noun. So these are multiple people or multiple nouns that have possession of the same thing. For example, Bob and Susie's house is very big. So in this case, the house belongs to both Bob and Susie. So since Susie is the last noun in the sentence, we add an apostrophe S after her name. Lucy and Ethan's children are very polite. So again, same thing. The children are both Lucy's and Ethan's, so we just need one apostrophe S after the final noun. Okay, let's talk about proper names ending in S. So if we have a proper name ending in S, like Texas or Mr. Jones, For example, we add an apostrophe after the S. Okay, so Texas's weather is unpredictable in the winter. You'll see that the pronunciation sounds as if there were an apostrophe S, but we only write an apostrophe. So the same with Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones's cat is very old. Okay, there are several irregular nouns in English, such as children, people, men, etc. With irregular nouns, we add an apostrophe S at the end of the regular noun. So children's, people's, men's, etc. Okay, Diego asks, your accent is American or Canadian? American. I'm from Texas, so I have an American accent. Okay, now let's look at abbreviations, single letters, and numbers. Okay, in this example here, do you know your ABCs? This is a way to ask someone, do you know how to spell? So here, after the last letter, the C, we add an apostrophe S. Okay, mind your P's and Q's. This is an expression which means you should be polite. So after the letter P and after the letter Q, we add an apostrophe S. Okay, and finally, with dates or years, we add an apostrophe S as well. For example, I was born in the 1980s. So the 1980 with an apostrophe S. All right, Elaine says your class is very good. Thanks a lot. Okay, thank you, Elaine. Thanks for watching. Now let's talk about some cases where we do not use an apostrophe. Okay, we do not use an apostrophe to make a regular noun or a proper name plural. So for example, if you're talking about someone's family, the family name, you do not add an apostrophe S. So if the family's name is Wilson and you want to make it plural, you say Wilsons, the Wilsons, but you don't add an apostrophe S, you just add an S. Okay, so here's the correct spelling. The Wilsons are my neighbors with no apostrophe. Okay, cases when we do use an apostrophe. This is not possessive, but with contractions. All right, for example, it is, it's, do not, don't, would not, wouldn't. We need to use an apostrophe with these words. Okay, and finally, we're going to look at possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. So we use possessive adjectives before the noun to show possession. Okay, and they are my, your, his, her, its, our, and their. Okay, so you'll notice this its here does not have an apostrophe. This is a possessive adjective. All right, for example, my gloves are red. So the noun is gloves and the possessive adjective is my because they belong to me. Okay, and finally, possessive pronouns. These are actually used to replace the noun. So the noun does not appear in the sentence. We replace it with the possessive pronoun. For example, mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, and theirs. Okay, for example, this phone is mine. It belongs to me. Okay, so now that we've looked at all of the different kinds of possession, the Saxon genitive, let's practice together. I'm going to ask you 3 questions and you can write your answers in the comments. Okay, so my first question is, write a sentence using a possessive pronoun. Okay, so we've just reviewed what those are. So if you can think of an example, write one in the comments. And do the same for possessive adjectives. So write a sentence using a possessive adjective. And finally, write a sentence using an apostrophe, okay? So do your best, try to think of an example for these 3 questions. And as you're doing that, I want to tell you more about our course here at ABBA. We have a complete course from beginners to business level featuring 144 units. Each unit has a short film, a video class explaining the grammar and exercises to help you improve your English. So if you want to sign up with us, you can start as a free student and you'll have access to all of the video classes as well as the first unit of each level. And then if you decide to go premium, you'll have access to all of the course content and you'll be assigned a teacher like me who you can write to anytime you have a question. So if you use our course, you can study from your smartphone, your tablet, or your PC or Mac, and your progress is saved on all of those devices. So it's a very flexible way to study anywhere and anytime. In addition to our course, we have many other free resources available to you, like our blog, our ABBA journal. Here you can find articles about grammar, culture, English for business, English for travel. In the comments, we've posted some articles related to today's topic, possessive, so you can find more information about that, the possessive form, the Saxon genitive. On our Facebook page, we have our live streaming classes twice a week, so you can always participate in those, and you can find our calendar posted on Facebook as well, so you can see the date, the time, and the topic of each week's class. And we have a Twitter page and a YouTube channel, so check out all of those resources if you haven't already to practice with us. And now it's time to answer your questions. Let's see who's joining us today and what questions or comments you have. Don't worry, if there are none right now, I'll tell you about next week's class. Next time, we're going to talk about how to rent an apartment in English. So Teacher Dell is going to be with you, and she's going to tell you about the different steps that you need to go through when you move to an English-speaking country, how you go about renting an apartment or a house, what are the different options, etc. Okay, so this will be really useful for you. I hope that you can join. Remember that you can turn on your Facebook notifications to receive a message anytime we're live streaming. Okay, and again, our calendar is posted on our Facebook page, and if you can't watch the class live, then you can find all of the classes in our video section after. Okay, so Oswaldo says it was a very good class. Thank you for joining. I hope that this class has been useful for you to review the possessive, or maybe you learned something that you didn't know already. Okay, so I hope you can join us next time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. So take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.